Well, the only problem is their winning percentage is about the exact same with and without Draymond.
Smaller sample size with him.
The exact same.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much better they are with him this year.
Is the team mentally in a better place without him? And if he, that's what I wonder too. Is what happens with some of these young guys, and especially because we've talked at length about the Jordan Poole situation last year and the ripple effect that might have had on some young guys. Some of those guys are still here, right? And some of those guys are playing big minutes. Some of them weren't, Podziemski and Jackson Davis. But in terms of getting the team to where they need to be prepared for games mentally, I mean, Steve is working. Obviously, there's development happening. We're seeing it before our eyes almost every game, and it's tangible in victories like last night. But I have like reservations about Draymond coming back, and not that he wouldn't help the team on the court if he's back and he's back to what he was mentally prior to all of this. But I wonder what it does to the makeup of the team, because we're getting deep into a season now. I mean, anybody knows it starts Christmas Day. But
yes.
When you're 500 and you're in the 11th spot on January 3rd, I wonder where they do go with this. And does the roster look completely different when Draymond comes back, if and when that happens pre-trade deadline?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know when he comes back. I have no idea. What are they going to say when he comes back? Like, just, he's good. He's good, or he's not great, but, he's good enough to come back, and he'll keep working at it. Like, I still, that whole thing's kind of funky to me. I have no idea how that's going to work. Like, he just pops up one day, he's playing, or he's coming back in a week, he's got one more class, or I have no idea.
Well, I don't know the dynamics of all the relationships, so it's impossible for me to speak on that. What I do try to do is put myself in that situation as a teammate. Like here at the office, if that were to happen at the studio and somebody has to leave and then they come back, is everybody just back all in, cool, open arms, welcoming them back, or are there still, can't imagine everybody feels the same way about it. It's a group of people who have different opinions about probably how all of this is played out.
I guess it depends on how much they feel like he's committed to the team.
Sure.
Right? Is he committed to the team? Is he committed to playing? Does he want to, change? Has he changed? Is he going to be the same guy? There's just so many questions that we won't know until we actually see it on the court. But it wasn't like they were 6 games over 500 with Draymond. Like, oh, my gosh, we get Draymond back, we're going to be good to go. I mean, they had issues with Draymond. Yeah. So that's why I say the next couple months is going to be really interesting, because this is all big picture stuff. And where are they? I mean, if anyone out there believes right now that this is a top 4 seed type playoff team, then you're fooling yourself. It's not. If you think the coach could do something a little bit different, or the rotations could be a little bit different, or somebody playing a little bit more could change things, you're wrong. You're wrong. Let me repeat, you're wrong. This is kind of who they are. I think they're better than what they are right now, but I don't think they're, like, are they as good as the Clippers right now?
No.
No. Are they as good as OKC?
No.
No. Are they as good as Minnesota?
No.
No. They're as good as Denver. There's 4. And then after that, then you have Dallas. Then you have Houston, who's been playing well. Then you have the Lakers, who's kind of been scuffling along like the Lakers do during the regular season. You even got Phoenix, who's been scuffling. And you got to figure Phoenix will be in the top 6. They'll find their way in the top 6 if they could ever get healthy. But, I know it's not late in the season, but it ain't early anymore. What are they right now? What are they, like 40? How many games are they in? Like 30 games in, 32 games in, something like that?
Yeah,
like
I think it's, what are they, 15 and 16, 31?
16 and 17 or 15 and 16?
They're 16 and 17, so they're 32.
Okay, so 33 games.
33.
What do you think you need for a top 4 seed? Probably 46? 47? Right around there?
Yeah, based on how bunched up it is there, and the in the West, probably 40 for a top 6.
Yeah, top 4.
Top 4. Oh, you probably need. I mean, Minnesota's 24 and 8. OKC's 23 and 9. Denver's 24 and 11. The Clippers are 20 and 12. You're of the 4 spot. You're 5 games back in the loss column. Like I think it might take 49, 50. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go light.
Okay,
let's go
46. Okay, 46.
Let's go 46. So they're 16 and 17 on 33 games, right? So they have 49 games left to play, and they have 16 wins. Is that correct? They
Yes.
have 49 games to play. and they have 16 wins.
That's right.
And they need to get to 45 wins. So what is that? 29 and 20. They would need to. They almost need to play 666 ball. It's you start adding up those numbers and go, well, those numbers are rough. That's tough to get to. I mean, you're a game under 500. Now you got to go 9 games over 500 the rest of the way just to get to 46, which is probably going to be light. That's probably a light number, but I just made it light just to kind of see what it would look like. Hey, hell, if you picked 48, if you wanted to go with that, then you're looking at 31 and 18 the rest of the way. I mean, that's what you kind of start looking at, and as the calendar starts rolling, it becomes a little more daunting each and every day if you're not gaining ground on these teams. So and then if you get to, a 5-6 seed, you're playing on the road the whole time. Or if you get to a 7-8, then you got to go to the play-in game again. Yeah. Or if you're 9-10, then you don't get a home play-in game. You got to go for a road play-in game.
Lakers are fighting for that home play-in right now because they're 11-4 at home.
So it's that's why I say it's going to be real interesting to see where they go in the next month and a half. What they can do, what they will do, what they want to do. Like, do they want to hang on to this thing and see? Like, if they're going to hang on to this thing and believe in it, you got to believe you can win a championship, or you got to believe you can get to at least to the Western Conference Finals. You have to,
if you want to hold to this core.
Yeah, you can't say let's hold on to this core and hopefully
the ceiling is second round.
We can win a round.
Right?
Why bother? Why bother? Now now here's the thing. I think they have assets that are worth something, but what are they worth? Like, I think Kuminga would get you something. Wiggins get you something. Draymond, I think, would get you something. But what is it? Is it worth it? Does it make you that much better? Does it put you in a position to somehow get back to where you want to be? If not this year, but in 2 years maybe, say, you could do that? I don't know. I don't know the answer. And this isn't all that surprising. It's really, really hard to pull off what the Spurs pulled off. And that's what the Warriors, that's what Laker wanted to pull off. Kind of what the Lakers did and what the Warriors, what the Spurs did. So you go back to what the Lakers did, who had an incredible run, right? So it started with, you got Kareem over. You traded him, and they weren't very good when they got Kareem from Milwaukee. Then all of a sudden, you get Magic. And then you get one of the most unbelievable trades of all time with Cleveland and get Worthy.
Yeah.
Boom. You're golden for a decade. A decade they were golden for. Like, we don't have to worry about anything for a decade. And they didn't. And then the last one, they lost to the Bulls. Magic was getting a little bit older, and that was Sam Perkins on that team and Vlade, and they were okay. And then what happens? Well, they're the Lakers, so people want to go there. So Shaq's like, I want to come to the Lakers. And then they get Kobe. Then you're good for another 10, 15 years. So there's your run. It's like they had the beginning, and then they reinfused it. Whereas what San Antonio did was they had Robinson before Pop took over. Robinson gets hurt. They lose 60 games. Ping pong balls go their way. Boom, Duncan. It's like, oh, damn. We're good for a little bit, right? Yeah. So you get Duncan, you get Robinson. And then Robinson retires. Duncan started to get a little bit older. Kawhi, middle of the first round. I think that was a trade. I think
he traded for George Hill.
Yeah, George Hill. Yeah. Right? And then Tony Parker. I think Tony Parker was end of the first round.
Yep.
And Manu Ginobili, second rounder. Boom. You hit the draft like grand slams, and then you're off and running again for another 10, 12 years. That's how you do that. So they have to figure out, okay, how do we get to that next kind of reiteration? Not next reiteration. It's not reiteration. It's that word. No. Iteration.
Version?
Version, whatever. It's a different word I was looking for. But anyway, It doesn't matter. How do you get to that? Yeah, keep going. We'll just spend a segment on that.
Grab a thesaurus, Tim.
Yeah, grab a thesaurus.
Good words for version.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. So how do you get to that? And what does that look like? I mean, what does it look like? I mean, they missed in the draft.
With Wiseman.
Right? They missed with Wiseman. I think Kuminga's still kind of a let's wait and see on him. And Moody's fine. Moody was 14th, but Kawhi was 15th. That's the type of player they got with 15. So when you can hit on that type, and again, it was a trade, George Hill trade, but then you hit Parker late and Ginobili in the second round. Like, you hit 3 Hall of Famers. That's how you move into the next year. And you're real smart, and Popovich is a great coach. Like, I think Steve's a great coach, and I think they got smart guys, but they haven't so far been able to, like, we don't see the light for 5 years down the line, right? When they got Kawhi and they had Parker, and we didn't know Parker was going to be that great, but they looked like he was going to be pretty good. And Ginobili, like,
Parker had been there for a while by the time they got Kawhi, though.
You could see, you could kind of see, okay, this thing's going to keep going. Like, they're gonna put themselves in a position
Bring
to
a
win.
Bruce Bowen,
Championships.
just a lockdown guy. Then you start getting role players like the Warriors did.
With the Warriors, we don't see that yet. Like, I don't see the light 5 years from now, right? Like, okay, there's going to be no Clay. Steph will be, I don't know if he'll be coming off the bench in 5 years. What will he be doing in 5 years? I think he'll still be playing. Draymond will be done in 5 years. Okay, what's the future that keeps them like a competitive team in terms of championships? Because that's what the Lakers were. The Lakers just completely revamped. They got like 2 massive superstars. And the Spurs didn't get these guys free agency. They drafted them, and they just hit them, and then they filled in the pieces. So if Joe Lacob wants that, if he wants to have like 25 years of like excellence here, where it's not just like, okay, boom, we got this for 10 years, and now it just fizzles out, which happens to most teams. I mean, the Warriors have had a better run than most teams are ever going to have in the NBA in their lifetime. Like, it was a magical run, one of the best runs of all time. This is how it kind of usually ends, where you kind of peter out a little bit, and you kind of maybe make a playoff, and then you got to figure out, okay, how do we retool and get back to kind of what we were? Most teams don't do like what the Spurs and Lakers did, where it's like, okay, you go down a little bit, and then you're just like, take off. Like, we're back up in the air. That doesn't happen. The Warriors got to figure out, okay, what's our avenue to doing that? Maybe there isn't one. Maybe there is. I don't know if there is one, but we don't see it yet. And I don't think they have, like, they may have a vision of what they wanted. Again, if you hit Wiseman, then look, you're back and rolling again. It's like, okay, God, we're good for another 10 years.
And that's it. And if you hit big enough on the one that keeps you moving, like Kawhi is one that had the Spurs held on to him. And if he were, I don't know, he's always heard it seemingly, but he's got 2 titles in 2 places and 2 finals MVPs with 2 different organizations, which is a hard thing to do. It's incredible that he did that. Had he been there, and if he were he seemed sort of demeanor like the Tim Duncan type of player. Obviously, it didn't work out for him there, but had he still been there, you'd say, okay, that's a team that's still on the table, Wemby or not. Because they had Kawhi Leonard.
Well, they wouldn't have Wemby if they
wouldn't
had
have Wemby, of course. But the point being is, when you get a guy that's big enough like that, Kobe helped them win in the Shaq era. Shaq needed that. They had to have him. Shaq's a dominant player, but he was a big part of that dynastic run.
Oh, yeah.
He was so good, though, that he ended up being one of, if not the greatest of all time. I don't think he's the best ever, but he's on that Mount Rushmore, where he got you titles a decade after that later by bringing in other people, and it was still because of draft picks. Don't forget, they got Pau Gasol for Marc Gasol. They were holding on to Marc Gasol's rights for like a couple of years before they flipped him. So they were planning for the future for a long time. And then Kobe started calling shots. Phil comes back, and the rest is history. But when you can extend like that, and you have a player of that caliber, and seemingly Steph Curry is like that, you can still extend beyond where maybe the peak is for some of the other guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're looking for. So,
and Kobe's not on the Mount Rushmore.
You don't think so?
No.
Who's on? You don't think Kobe's on Mount Rushmore?
Not a chance.
Well, he's not.
Mount Rushmore for Lakers.
Sure.
That's still a tough nut to crack.
That's a
Laker Mount Rushmore is incredible. So the Celtics Mount Rushmore, but the Lakers, I don't know if you can beat the Lakers Mount Rushmore.
Who's the Lakers Mount Rushmore? It's Magic, Kareem, Shaq,
Kobe.
So Kobe is on it. Oh, and they call on the Lakers. One. So who's on the NBA Mount Rushmore?
I don't know, but not him. It's probably Michael.
If you don't even know, then how can you tell me?
Michael, Kareem, LeBron, and I don't know.
Kobe?
I can go
Bill Russell?
No, not Kobe. I go Bird.
Bob Cousy?
I go Bird over Kobe, but
Bird over Kobe, huh?
I mean, I just
do you even watch basketball? You even watch hoops, dude? Come on.
Dude, I'll put me
talking
on there.
About, dude. I saw Bird, dude. He was all overweight, coaching the Pistons.
You could put
the
Wilt
Pacers.
on there.
Yeah, Wilt. Dude, I don't think Kareem gets enough.
Kareem.
Kareem doesn't get enough love for being the best of all time.
For best
of all 5
time.
titles? 5 MVPs, 6 MVPs or something?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6. I think 5 titles, 5 MVPs.
That's
could be
wild.
6 MVPs.
I remember when Bonds passed Kareem for most MVPs in any sport. 'Cause Bonds got like 7 or something, right?
It was insane.
And Kareem getting 5 is...
Yeah, but they didn't give him out. What would Babe have had, 18?
Yeah.
He would have won.
Come on.
He would have won every year. Well, guess what? Otani's going to probably have 12. He'll win every year. I don't know if he's over here. How old is he now?
Who, Ohtani?
Yeah, 29?
Yeah.
So what's he got? At least a good... If he pitches, he's got 5 more in him.
He's not getting an S from me. Six titles and 6 MVPs for
yeah,
Kareem.
I mean, no, he's incredible.
Why does he not get the love?
I don't know.
He was the all-time scorer.
People don't like the hook. I think people don't like the hook.
I don't care what they like.
I'm just
I
telling
don't
you.
give a damn what they like. Kareem was insane.
I don't like the hook. I'm going to give it to him.
So we're in agreement. Kareem, Michael, Shaq.
Duncan.
You putting Duncan over Kobe?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Do you even watch basketball?
No.
Duncan over Kobe. Interesting debate. The big fundamental. I mean, dude, he was insane.
Dude,
he got 5 in the Kobe era.
What?
He got 5 in the Kobe and Shaq era.
He's incredible.
Man. Where's Dirk go on the list as a freak?
As a freak, he's way up there.
As far as he was
offensively, he's he's such an outlier how big he was and how he was one of the first super big dudes, not big but tall, that could just bomb from the perimeter.
Oh, dude.
Everybody does it now, but this guy was just
7
wild.
feet. I love 03 Mavs were one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It was Sean Bradley was there. And Steve Nash was a point guard.
Yes.
Dirk was their 4.
Nash.
I'm trying to remember who the 2 was. Michael somebody or other.
Oh, Michael Finley.
There you go, Michael Finley. They had Nick the Quick Van Exel off the bench. Dude, I like
that was one of my favorite playoff series to ever call. I called the Mavs Kings.
Ooh,
I called 3 of their games.
Was 04?
Oh, yeah. I was first one to 130. I mean, it was just whoo. It was so awesome. I loved calling those games. I used to drive up to Sacramento and call those games.
At Arco?
Yep. Awesome atmosphere, and the teams were great.
Those used to be that was back when, stylistically, there were different basketball teams.
Yeah.
Now everybody, we say it about baseball. We say football's not so much. You still get football stylistically because coaches and schematics, but a lot of the offenses, it goes in waves and trends. But in the NBA, we used to get, you knew you were going to get a series like that where it was going to be up and down. Warriors against the Jazz, the We Believe, it was oh boy, it's going to be, how are you going to stop?
Yep.
They're a slow it down.
Yep.
That was still Jerry Sloan back then, right?
Well, remember when I think the We Believe Warriors, or maybe the year after, they made their run.
48 wins
I think
and
they
missed
put
the
the
playoffs.
Suns in the playoffs.
No, they
if I'm not
48
mistaken.
wins and didn't make the playoffs the following year.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I know they played the Suns one of those years, and I was like, ooh, I got to watch these games. I think it was the
The
Suns.
Suns? I don't remember them meeting the Suns in the playoffs.
Oh, who was it? Maybe it wasn't.
Lakers Suns was a
Maybe
lot
it
of
was
fun.
just TNT Thursday Night Special.
Kobe against Gentry.
That's possible.
Kobe knocked down that 3 and tapped him on the ass. There's Gentry all the time. I was like, that's incredible. Kobe's so cool. Not on Tom's Mount Rushmore though.
He's not. Not a chance.
But Kareem is up there. Just one more thought on the Draymond stuff. So I was saying, would people welcome him back? Not people, fans. I'm thinking the team. What is that? Is that something that Mike Dunleavy has to navigate, or that Steve Kerr has to navigate, or is there an implementation process here?
Don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All brand new.
I don't know. I don't know if it's reintroducing an animal to the wild park. You're okay, we can put him out there for a day. Then we got to take him back.
Yeah,
got to make sure put him out there for a couple more days and take him back.
I'm acclimated. So I'm going to put the new seal in the water, see if he knows how to swim for a second. Kind of flaps.
Exactly.
I'm hoping maybe they do it like WWE. He just comes running into a game from the Titantron.
Oh no! Please don't do that.
The glass crash.
Awesome,
here's some entry music for Draymond.
Stone Cold.
Here he comes! Draymond's back! Oh my God!
Yeah,
but then he has to check in. Then he has to stand in front of the scores table and wait for the.
They can play D-Generation X. Can spit water in the air.
Yeah,
that'd be just perfect.
They play Kelly Clarkson Since You've Been Gone. There we go. We'll wait and see what happens. But it does seem like they're going to have to make a decision on what the direction of the team is for this organization. Make a lot of really good points about the successful teams and the organizations that have kept things going for decades.
Thanks, Mike Dunleavy.
And that's what they're looking to do. That's what Dunleavy is going to be tasked with. Dante Whitner is going to join us at 3:50. Let's get into some 49er football. Also, Steve Young, 4:50. Steve Kerr, head coach of the Warriors, at 5:30. Got that? Dante, 3:50. Steve Young, 4:50. And then just leave it on because 5:30. Steve Kerr is going to join us. When we come on back, I lied to you. So we're going to get into some football. Why don't we do that when we have a nice, big, first time of the year NBA grab bag.
NBA grab bag.
NBA grab bag is next.